Rain pelted against the windshield like 1,000 tiny bullets. Marcus gripped the steering wheel tighter as his wipers struggled against the storm. It was supposed to be a quiet night, a simple drive home after picking up his son from school. But fate had other plans. Up ahead, through the blur of rain and headlights, he saw a twisted wreck, a luxury black SUV wrapped around a streetlight. He slammed the brakes. For a moment, the world went silent. Marcus jumped out, his boots splashing into the water pooling across the road. The sound of the rain mixed with the faint, broken sobs from inside the SUV. He yanked the door open and froze. A woman sat there, trembling, blood trickling down her forehead. Her voice shook like it hadn't been used in years. "Please, don't hurt me. I can't walk." Her hand reached out weakly, manicured, trembling, a woman who clearly wasn't used to being this helpless. And in that instant, Marcus realized who she was. The CEO whose company had fired half the staff last winter, including him. But instead of anger, he felt something else rising inside, something that would change both their lives forever. If this moment already moved you, stay with us, because what happened next will make you believe in second chances. Don't forget to subscribe. You'll want to see how this story ends. Marcus wasn't the kind of man who believed in miracles anymore. He used to. Back when his wife was alive. Back when their little boy would wake him up with drawings and laughter. But after the accident that took her life 2 years ago, something inside him had gone quiet. He worked long hours at a small auto repair shop on the edge of town. Grease-stained hands, tired eyes, and a heart that had forgotten what warmth felt like. Every night, he picked up his son, Leo, from his mother's house. They'd drive home in silence, a radio humming softly between them, both pretending not to notice how empty the back seat felt without her laughter. Bills stacked on the kitchen counter. The fridge hummed like a reminder of everything missing. Still, Marcus tried. He always tried. He'd once been a mechanic for a luxury car company, the same company now run by her, the woman from the crash. The CEO who ordered layoffs when business slowed, leaving dozens of men like him struggling to feed their families. He didn't hate her. Not really. He just never thought their paths would cross again. And certainly not like this. Tonight wasn't supposed to be a story of second chances. But destiny has a strange way of forcing broken lives to meet when healing is overdue. Sometimes, the people we least expect to help are the ones sent to save us. The storm hadn't slowed. Lightning flashed across the sky as Marcus crouched beside the wrecked SUV, his hands trembling slightly from the cold and the weight of what he was seeing. The woman's breathing was shallow. Her voice, once commanding and confident on every business interview he'd ever seen, now cracked like glass. "Please, my leg. I can't feel it." Marcus glanced at the deployed airbags, the twisted metal, the faint smell of gasoline. He knew the risks. Any second, the car could catch fire. But his instincts kicked in. He pulled off his soaked jacket, pressing it against her bleeding shoulder. "Stay with me. Don't move, okay? I'm getting you out." Her eyes widened, glistening through the rain. Why are you helping me? You don't even know me." Marcus almost laughed. "Oh, I know you," he said softly. "You're the reason my shop's half empty." Her lips parted in shock. But before she could speak again, the sound of thunder ripped through the night, and flames burst from beneath the hood. Without thinking, Marcus tore at the jammed seatbelt, ignoring the sharp pain slicing across his arm. The fire hissed, spreading. He could feel the heat biting his face. He managed to drag her out just before the car erupted in sparks. She collapsed against him, sobbing. And as he held her there in the pouring rain, a woman who once signed the paper that ended his job, something inside him shifted. This wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about humanity. But the night wasn't done testing them yet. From the distance, a shadowy figure approached through the fog, one that made Marcus tense all over again. And that's when he realized they weren't alone. Marcus guided her carefully toward his old pickup truck parked a few feet away, shielding her from the rain with his own body. She winced with every step, her voice weak. "Please. I can't go to a hospital. Not yet." He stopped, confused. "You're hurt. You need help." She shook her head, gripping his arm. "If they find me there, I'm dead." The words froze him. The distant figure he'd seen through the fog moments ago was gone now, but the faint crunch of footsteps echoed somewhere behind them. Marcus scanned the darkness. His instincts as both a father and survivor flared alive. He opened the truck door and helped her inside, wrapping a blanket from the back seat around her trembling shoulders. "Start talking," he said quietly, trying to mask his worry. "Who's after you?" She hesitated, her eyes darting between him and the broken road. "It's not what you think," she whispered. "The crash. It wasn't an accident. Someone tampered with my brakes." Marcus blinked. "You're saying someone tried to kill me," she cut in. Her lips trembled, her voice barely a whisper over the rain. "I found out something at my company. Something that could destroy the wrong people if it ever got out." Before Marcus could process her words, a car sped past them, then screeched to a stop. Headlights flooded his truck. A man stepped out, umbrella in hand, scanning the area like a hunter searching for prey. Marcus ducked low, whispering, "Stay down." Her breathing quickened. "That's him," she mouthed. "That's the man who's been following me." Marcus's heart pounded. He wasn't built for this. He fixed cars, not chaos. But the fear in her eyes mirrored something he hadn't seen in years. Desperation. The same look his son had the night his wife died. He started the engine slowly, praying the truck wouldn't make a sound. But the moment he shifted into gear, the headlights turned toward them. Their eyes met through the rain. The man smiled. And that was when Marcus realized. Saving her that night was only the beginning. Marcus drove in silence for miles. The rain had softened to a mist, but the tension inside the truck was deafening. He glanced at her, this powerful woman who once ruled boardrooms and broke business deals like glass, now trembling under his old blanket. Finally, he asked, "You said someone tampered with your car. Who would do that?" She hesitated. Then, with a shaky breath, she said, "Someone from the company. My own assistant." Her voice cracked. "I was supposed to sign a merger, one that would hand over everything my father built. But I found proof that the investors weren't real. They were laundering money. When I confronted them, my assistant, he turned on me." Marcus clenched his jaw. "So they tried to get rid of you before you could expose them." Tears welled up in her eyes. "I thought I could handle it. But when the car started spinning on the highway, I realized I wasn't supposed to survive." She stared out the window, her voice barely a whisper. "I didn't even call for help. I just waited to die." Marcus's hands tightened around the steering wheel. Something about her words hit him deeper than he expected. He'd felt that same kind of hopelessness once, the night he lost his wife, sitting in his truck for hours, staring at the rain, wondering how life could keep going when everything good had stopped. He turned to her. "You didn't die for a reason." She blinked, startled by the conviction in his voice. Then she asked softly, "Why are you helping me, Marcus? You said it yourself. You lost everything because of my company." He hesitated. The truth was simple, and yet heavy. "Because someone once helped me when I didn't deserve it either." She studied him, confusion flickering in her tired eyes. "Who?" He looked straight ahead, his voice breaking. "My wife. Before the accident, I was angry all the time, bitter. But she used to say something I never forgot. You don't heal the world by matching its cruelty, you heal it by refusing to become it." Silence filled the cab. Then she whispered, "Your wife sounds like someone I wish I'd met." For the first time that night, Marcus smiled faintly. "You just did," he said. "Because she's the reason you're still breathing." But just as the warmth between them began to grow, Marcus's phone buzzed. An unknown number. A text. We know where you are. Don't get involved. The smile vanished. He looked at her and realized whatever he'd stepped into wasn't just a rescue. It was a storm waiting to swallow them both. And that's when Marcus understood. This woman's secret wasn't just about corruption. It was about survival and maybe redemption. The sun was just beginning to rise when Marcus pulled the truck into the empty parking lot of a small-town diner. The neon open sign flickered to life against the golden dawn. The woman, Elena, stirred beside him, her voice soft and weary. "Where are we?" "Somewhere they won't find you," Marcus said. "For now." He helped her inside. The diner smelled of coffee and rain. A kind old waitress looked up, startled at Elena's bruises and the dirt on Marcus's shirt, but said nothing, only poured them both a cup. Elena took a sip, her hands shaking. "You didn't have to do all this," she whispered. Marcus met her gaze. "You didn't have to survive, but you did. That means something." She smiled faintly, the first genuine one of the night. But it quickly faded when her phone buzzed. The screen flashed an unknown number again. Marcus reached across the table, taking the phone and turning it face down. "No more running," he said quietly. "We fight back. Together." Elena looked at him, the mechanic with oil-stained hands and tired eyes, and something shifted inside her. For years, she'd been surrounded by people who wanted her power, not her humanity. But here was a man who expected nothing, who protected her when the world walked away. They spent the next hour drafting a message. Marcus called a friend, an old firefighter who'd seen the worst and still believed in doing right. Within hours, the police arrived, armed with evidence Elena had been too scared to share alone. The man who had followed her, her former assistant, was caught trying to flee the state. Later, standing outside the diner as the sun bathed the world in light, Elena turned to Marcus. "I don't know how to thank you," she said. He smiled, sliding his hands into his jacket pockets. "Just promise me something." "What?" "When the world tries to make you bitter again, don't let it win." Her eyes glistened. "You sound like a man who's been there." "I have," he admitted. "But helping you, it reminded me that not everything broken stays that way." She took a step closer, her voice trembling with emotion. "Marcus, I want to help your son. The hospital he's in, I'll make sure he gets every treatment he needs. It's the least I can do." He froze, overwhelmed. For a long moment, he couldn't speak. Then he whispered, "Thank you." She smiled. "No, Marcus. Thank you. You didn't just save my life. You saved me." The camera lingers as she gently presses a folded paper into his hand. A business card, embossed with her name. "Don't ever think your kindness went unnoticed," she says. "Because people like you. You're what makes the world worth saving." Marcus watches as she's driven away in the back of a police car for protection. No longer a victim, but a survivor. He stands by his truck, the early light breaking across his face, hope flickering in his eyes for the first time in years. And sometimes, the greatest rescues don't happen in burning buildings. They happen in hearts learning how to heal again. Sometimes, the people who walk into our lives at our weakest moments aren't there by coincidence. They're reminders that kindness still exists, that humanity isn't lost. If this story touched your heart, don't just scroll away. Subscribe to SoulTwist Stories, where every story reminds you that hope, grace, and second chances still live among us. And if you're ready for your next heart-stirring journey, tap the playlist right here, because the next story might just change the way you see love, loss, and fate forever.